morning. I'm realizing how bad the lighting is. I turned 31 on Thursday, and I had a bit of a harebrained scheme that I would, to remind myself how old I'm getting, read a bunch of like popular TikTok books and kind of give my rating. And I'm a mix. I'm kind of a hater at heart, but I love to love things. So it'll be interesting to see exactly like where I land on things. And I'm so old that I don't have TikTok. So I spent a couple hours yesterday on YouTube looking up book talk popular books and then selected like the most popular ones I could find to try. I think I chose 5. And I started the first one yesterday that I have seen before, which is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. And I read 35% last night. Read super, super fast. It feels like very like 2010 YA, like back when it was my genre and I was young. That's what this feels like right now. And basically there's like a caste, there's a tier system within their society, depending on if you have red blood and you're a normal human, or if you have blue blood, or silver blood. And those people are blessed with like powers, whether it's like you can manipulate a mind or control fire or control like the elements. And then one day our character Mare, who is red-blooded, is working in the palace and is able to conduct electricity, kind of like blowing up their entire like scheme and system. And that's as far as I've gotten. I'm enjoying it right now, but I'll be interested to see. I know this is a bit of an older one from when I was looking it up, but like a book talk classic to the kids. So I'll be interested to see as I do like newer and newer books, what I think. And that's what I'm going to be reading for the week. So it's going to be 20 degrees today. I'm still in isolation, so I'll be out on the deck reading with Ian, who tested positive on Sunday. And that's okay. We'll get some sun in. Hopefully I'm not sick for my birthday, but it's looking like I will be. So we'll somehow still do something fun, but that's what I'm reading right now. Hello, it's a little bit later on Tuesday, and I did finish Red Queen this afternoon, and I rated it a 3-star on Goodreads. I'd probably rate it a 3.5. It felt so reminiscent, so I had Ian actually look up when it was written, and like to a T, it's interesting that it's trending right now, and it's what's popular right now, because it was so very reminiscent of like the dystopian YA, like 2010 or 2009 to like 2015 really was like my era of young adult novels, which really was like overtaken by the Hunger Games phenomenon. So it was like Maze Runner, Veronica Roth wrote one, Divergent. It was like everything that the Hunger Games was, or like different elements just implanted into stories that it maybe didn't belong in. And I did feel that with Red Queen. So like when I was at the 50% mark, I asked Ian to look it up, and it was written in 2015 or 2014, something like that. And I was like, yeah, that tracks absolutely, because I did really enjoy it. It like itched that nostalgic bone in my body, because that was my particular era. I'm just very surprised that it's what the kids are reading these days, I guess. It's very vintage of them. But I will say it ended in an interesting way, but it didn't really intrigue me. Like, I did find all of the twists are similar to the twists that we all saw like circa 2010 to 2015. So I can understand the appeal, especially if I was at that age or if I haven't read a lot from that time. But I think it very much dated me. It kind of did what I thought this video was gonna do, which was reminded me that I'm old. And it felt that way, because I was like, when I was in high school, this would have intrigued me, which, like, of course it was, because it was written almost when I was in high school. So that is my review for Red Queen 3.5 out of 5, which really isn't that bad. Because I really would recommend it to a younger audience, or if you're new to dystopian, I'm sure it would grab your attention. I might casually read the others if I see them in the library. Like, it was a very quick read. You can read it in like a day. So I'm going to take a small break from reading trendy books, read something old and boring, and then jump back into it. Maybe Thursday when I get my hair done. Good morning. It's Saturday morning. I took a few days off because I had my birthday. I had a really great day. I wound up just feeling so tired. I worked for half of the day and then went to a bookstore and then passed out at like 8:30. That being said, I actually had a really amazing day. I got to see some of my family that I didn't think I would. I was so tired, but also I went back to my natural kind of like mousy-ish blonde hair, and I really, really like it. Like, I just feel like myself again. But that being said, continuing on, I picked up 2 kind of like things I've seen floating around, these like TikTok favorite videos, and one of them is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I haven't read much of this. I brought it to my hair appointment, but I didn't even have her trim anything. I just had a tone job, so I was only there for like an hour and a half. And you'd think I'd get reading done, but instead there was a girl 2 seats away from me talking about how she just started watching Vanderpump last year and fell down the hole. So I wound up making a friend instead. So I don't have any update for this yet. And I also picked up the newest release by Christina Lauren. This is an author I've seen bouncing around a lot. So far, I haven't really seen a book by them that like really spoke to me to call to pick up, but I figured this is just released. It was an easy buy, so I'll try this one. And I also picked up When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker when I went like birthday book shopping. So after I finish Powerless, I think this will be my next fantasy read. Because I picked up a Robin Hobb. I went across the bridge in Halifax to a different bookstore that's like pretty far away from me. It's all relative, but pretty far. And they just have the best fantasy selection. So I figured it's my birthday, we'll go there. So Ian and I drove over there and met up with my brother, and I was able to kind of browse a bigger fantasy section. So I picked up a couple other things. They had the new editions of Robin Hobb, so I got the one that I'm currently on, the Golden Fool, book 2 of the Tawny Man trilogy. The third one was there, but there was a couple of copies, so I figure I don't have to rush to pick that one up. And then I also got The Spear Cuts Through Water. I was back and forth about this one, because I haven't heard like a ton about it. I've just kind of seen it bouncing around, but everyone I've seen who's read it has had really great things to say about it. But then Ian said it was also on his to read list, so I figured might as well have it in our house. So this morning I'm going to spend some time reading a little bit. I don't have any Bravo shows to catch up on, and then I'll clean a little bit later today, but it's going to be cold and cloudy and gloomy, so I'll probably get quite a bit of reading done today. We'll see what I can finish off. Okay, so it's been about a week, and I wanted to update because I read Powerless, which I know this has been going around as like the book to read this year. I've heard so much about it. I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And unfortunately, I did DNF it, and I'm a little sad about it. I DNF'd it. I just think with this, there are so many things that have done it better. Hunger Games, Red Rising, Red Queen, Serpent and the Wings of Night, Throne of Glass, very reminiscent of this. So like you can kind of catch my drift from what I'm saying. It's very, very reliant on the forefathers, the foundational of it pulls so much from those books, but gives nothing new. And it lends to an incredibly dull and lackluster experience with somewhat cringy dialogue. And I'm really sad that that's kind of how I'm ending things here because I had such high hopes for this. I saved this for my birthday. I didn't start reading this until I sat down to get my hair done because I went back natural for my birthday. And I really didn't like it. And I'm so deeply sad about it. But if I've learned anything from this video, I guess I learned I don't like what's trendy, apparently. But also, it was kind of fascinating. I got to read this right after reading The Red Queen because it pulled so much from it, which when I read The Red Queen, pulled so much from The Hunger Games and Throne of Glass, and that kind of just trope of like a really sassy main heroine and like a guy you don't want to mess with, very Blood and Ash as well. But he has like a soft spot for her and she gives him all the sass, and like it was incredibly tropey, but again, without bringing anything new to the table, because I can have a good time with something that is very tropey and an easy read and you can just breeze through. But unfortunately, you do have to bring something new to the story. I did DNF it. I could finish it tonight and maybe I'll finish it at some point, but it just, the juice was not worth the squeeze for this one. So I'm 31. I feel like this video has proven it, and I need to stay in my lane, and maybe Book Talk, or at least what I searched for the most popular of Book Talk, is not for me. So back to your regular scheduled programming, I guess.